instruments catalyzing growth in Uzbekistan, 650,000. This is the number of SMEs in Uzbekistan now. And 10 years ago, this number was 3 times smaller. And each year, it's growing up to 10%. And I think it's good numbers for Uzbekistan with a population of 38 million. So as Uzbekistan accelerates its economic transformation, we recognize the critical role SMEs play in driving innovation, job creation, and economic stability. These enterprises are the backbone of any modern economy, and in Uzbekistan there is a strong commitment to nurturing them. In light of this, the topic of today's discussion on the unique model of development under the Economic Empowerment Fund for Uzbekistan, which is a $100 million investment platform designed to empower SMEs through Sharia-compliant financial instruments. This initiative is backed by the key international partners such as Islamic Development Bank Group, Saudi Fund for Development, Aqua Power, Vision Invest, SFD, and Uzbekistan's Fund for Reconstruction and Development. Strategy of this fund is proprietarily sourcing assistance ahead of application, as well as monitoring and partnership after selected SMEs gain funding to increase deployment and success. Purpose of the fund: foster private sector development with a focus on SMEs, job creation, and poverty reduction. Overview of this fund is backed by the above-mentioned investors, is managed by CEIF. It aims to strengthen SMEs in Uzbekistan by enhancing their financial and technical capacities. We are fortunate to have honored group of speakers here with us today who will share their insights on how Sharia-compliant financing solutions are playing a primary role in fueling growth, creating new business opportunities, and improving access to capital for SMEs in Uzbekistan. Let's dive right into it, and here our respected speakers. From the left, Mr. Jan Cherim, Vice President, Vice Chairman of CEIF, Gary Dodge, Managing Director, GIC member of CEIF, Nikolai Yarmov, Founder and CEO, CED, and Mr. Alihan, Acting Head of Regional Office in Almaty Islamic Development Bank. Mr. Sumendra Root, Country CEO, Aqua Power. Mr. Kapil Alwani, Chief Development Officer, Vision Invest. Mr. Olim Yusupov, Deputy Executive Director, Fund for Reconstruction and Development Fund of Uzbekistan. Let me start with the questions for our respected speakers. Mr. Cherim, let's start from you. Please answer for the first question about CEIF. What's the CEIF role in managing the Economic Empowerment Fund? Is as a central role of CEIF in Uzbekistan today's discussion. Could you tell us about how the fund identifies and supports promising SMEs in Uzbekistan?
Thanks very much.
Microphone.
Are we live?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Is this good?
Yes, is it good?
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thanks very much for the introduction, and let me say first of all that we are delighted as CEIF, which stands, by the way, for the Small Enterprise Assistance Funds, which is the full name of our organization. We are by origin an American investment management firm, but also a mission-driven organization, so that for more than 35 years, CEIF has been operating in countries like Uzbekistan around the world, working on the development of small and medium-sized enterprises generally. That's what we're all about, and as the moderator very kindly already pointed out, we very much believe that small enterprises are the backbone of every economy, and that's even more so the case in a country such as Uzbekistan, and in fact all of the countries where we operate. You know, job creation, new ideas, new developments, innovation often come from the smaller end of the economic scale and are not necessarily what you find in the very largest enterprises. So we're very devoted to that mission. We've worked with entrepreneurs here in Uzbekistan actually for more than 15 years already with an earlier fund, and we're exceptionally pleased to have been selected by the Uzbek Fund for Reconstruction and Development and the Islamic Development Bank and our other partners, the Saudi Fund for Development and our other Saudi friends in this fund. We're very pleased to have been selected to help launch the Economic Empowerment Fund here. Now, the idea behind it, as your moderator has already informed us, is to help on two ends. This fund is designed to provide financing to local financial institutions here in Uzbekistan, who will then on finance to SMEs in the country. And so our job as the fund manager is to coordinate both ends of this, if you like. So we have to select partner financial institutions here in Uzbekistan for lines of finance from the fund. And at the same time, we'll be using the expertise that we've built up over many years to work with SMEs and to work with industry groups and across different regions in the country to mobilize investment opportunities that we will then match to the banking partners who are part of the fund. So we have to work it from both sides, if you like, using our experience with SMEs and SME investment, helping them prepare for finance and prepare for further development and innovation. And at the same time, helping our financial institution partners in the fund to develop Sharia-compliant financing products, which is a part of the fund's mission to provide new products that are Islamic, consistent with Islamic principles in terms of their characteristics, and reaching these through into the various SME sectors in different regions. So it's a challenging task, and it has lots of different components to it, which we're very excited to be working on, and you'll hear much more from my colleagues here.
Thank you very much. Next question is to Mr. Dodge. When we're talking about alternative financing as a Sharia-compliant financing for SMEs, the main question is, how do you ensure that the investment decisions made by the fund align with both financial goals and the ethical principles of Sharia-compliant finance?
First of all, thanks for inviting SEEF to this forum and this panel, and then also thanks for your question. Well, SEEF, and again, as Jan, thank you, Jan was just explaining, there's kind of two levels to how this fund works. One will be in terms of the financing that we extend to the banks, which will then go later downstream to the SMEs. At the top level, so where the fund itself is really making the commitment to the financial institutions, and this is how it works for SEEF, you know, globally for many years with many different types of funds in different emerging markets around the world. But we have a global investment committee, or GIC, which reviews with fund management teams of the various funds every single investment that those funds make, and has to approve them. And I will say from experience on both sides of that fence, prior as a fund manager and now as a member of that committee, along with Jan and other members of SEEF's senior management, is an extremely rigorous process. There is a lot of information, a lot of analysis that the fund management teams have to provide, a lot of questions, and it's also a two-stage process. There's kind of a screening or concept clearance, and then requests and additional information demands and due diligence from the investment committee, and then it comes back again for a final decision. And I can say that I believe at least that this process works quite well because number one, the people on the committee have had a lot of experience of this type of investing. And of course, every country is different, every individual investment is different, has its own unique characteristics. But you can see over time in kind of a broader picture that emerging markets and SMEs development in these emerging markets has a particular path, and they face very common kinds of issues that have to be addressed that I think we understand and we can look at for these investments. And then emerging markets themselves face similar challenges and development paths that we're aware of. So I think we can bring this experience to bear and help the fund and help the fund management teams who have the local knowledge and the understanding of the investment locally that we don't have, and we can marry this knowledge and this experience and make very strong investments. On top of that, in this fund we have the Sharia compliance aspect to it, and for this fund we have a Sharia compliance advisor that will help us who are not, at least me speaking for myself, not an expert at that, ensure that all these investments not only make the financial sound sense but in other impactful sense for the economy here and the companies, but also fulfill the Sharia compliance aspect of it. And then downstream, I mean, we from the banks, the SMEs, as Jan said, we will be actively involved. It won't take the same role, but we will be referring and channeling good SMEs to the banks to get the financing. We will go through a process, obviously, in doing that of vetting, quality control, etc., to the extent we can, and also ensuring, as Jan said, with the products that the banks put out, that these also fit the Sharia compliance. So.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Dodge. It's
Can I add something to what Gary is saying? Just specifically on the Sharia compliance point, we have actually worked with Islamic financing in a number of different countries and with a lot of different banks in the past. And one of the, you mentioned the point about financial returns and balancing these things. And one of the points which we think is very important is that our understanding based on market research so far, and also the hypothesis of our partners in the fund, is that there is a lot of interest in Islamic principles in finance and Sharia compliant products in the Uzbek market generally, and that particularly outside of the big cities, there is a feeling in terms of entrepreneurs and businesses working with banks that there is something inherently more equitable or fair about Islamic principles in financial products, and that in a way the products are thought to be more transparent, and therefore it's a more reasonable sharing of the profits associated with the business. And we're very interested to see that develop further, and it's an important part of it, and getting that balance right is of course quite a trick, because the banks have to learn this as well.
Yeah. Yes, it's very important, of course, to understand how to manage this fund, both for project management, also Sharia compliant side also. And this experience which we have in CEF is very valuable, I think. And we know that in Uzbekistan there are several financial institutions are financing this in such a way for SMEs. And as a new fund, which is just starting their operations, what is the, what's the difference of this fund with other financial institutions? I think Mr. Yarmov can answer this question because there's some differences between this fund and other financial institutions, how they financing the project and they are supporting SMEs.
Thank you, thank you. I'm sure colleagues like Olimake and others will help me in that answering that question, but what we think certainly differentiates Economic Empowerment Fund from other funds is we see we have a dual purpose here. It's not only mobilizing and basically disbursing the capital to the market, but we see a critical role we have to play in the building the local capacity and capacity building. I come from the soft part of our company where we do a lot of the technical assistance and training for the final beneficiaries and working directly with the micro and small and medium enterprises. And as we said, there is enormous potential for building the local capacity, especially outside in the regions, educating and bringing awareness, especially on the Sharia compliance finance, reading the contracts, getting to know raising the financial literacy of the population of the communities that will be applying for the loans, as well as helping them with the business planning process, monitoring, evaluation, and as well as structuring and basically corporate governance, etc. So there is a huge room for improvement, and we think that Economic Empowerment Fund will come to serve that need outside of the capital and as well as here in Tashkent Oblast, but also working with critical sectors of the economy that has this demand and need for expanding, like agriculture, tourism, horticulture, and all the various industries. So we'll be happy to provide more information as we go, but yeah, we think we have a good mission to accomplish here.
Yeah, great. Technical assistance also very important, because when funds financing project of SMEs and the helping with the trainings, with the I would say to protect from some other risks, it's very important for small and medium enterprises. I think it's a very good idea to provide technical assistance also. I want to turn to Mr. Ali Khan as acting head of regional office in Central Asia, as a long-year partner of Uzbekistan Islamic Development Bank group, which has a very deep experience in Uzbekistan. Please share with us the ICDB experience and models for economic empowerment under Islamic finance, which could be useful for our new fund.
Thank you very much and good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum to everyone present. First, thank you very much for inviting Islamic Development Bank. As you mentioned, the group itself, we have been a very long-standing partner of Uzbekistan. We have 57 member countries, and Uzbekistan within Central Asia is one of our largest partners. And now conventionally in Uzbekistan, we have been investing a lot in the infrastructure development. And this Economic Empowerment Fund, it has really opened up an opportunity for the bank group itself to get into some of the most critical elements which the government is now targeting, which is the inclusive economic growth. And that directly links with the SDG targets that the government has for its strategy 2030.
Now I would just come closer to microphone, please.
Yeah. Is it? Let me bring it. Sorry. Let's see. Is it better now? Let's get it. Is it better?
Yeah. Now it's better.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And now see, the economic empowerment program for the bank itself is not new. We have up till now done almost over 50 programs across our membership. And that varies from continents to continents, right? So that gives us a very rich experience in ensuring that what we do now, it is based on the lessons that we have garnered from the past. And I think one of the biggest lessons at a very high level, when people look at economic empowerment, they think about this traditionally in terms of relief programs for the poor. However, what we have learned over the years is that and I think it has been said by many speakers, that when you tackle the economic empowerment issues, you really look at it from the perspective of the national strategy of growth itself and poverty reduction itself. So it has to be very strongly anchored to those strategies of the government. And we are happy that this economic empowerment fund itself, that is very strongly anchored to the government's growth strategy. Now, in terms of the actual model of the fund, let me come back. We have been talking a lot about the procedures. How do you ensure that you select the right beneficiaries? What are the procedures of selecting the right projects, etc. But just coming back to the overall principle of how have we structured this fund as a team. And I think the representatives here today, that is a very good bouquet. That we have the private sector representatives, we have the global experts who have been dealing with SMEs, the government representatives, they are present, and the private, the development bank, Islamic Development Bank, we are present here. And that truly brings in the form of the blended financing that the entire development community has been talking about. How can you leverage the development finance, the private finance together to serve the growth, the poverty reduction, as well as the economic opportunities that the private sector is looking for. So our focus, whenever we target on economic empowerment funds, we look at it slightly differently compared to what the conventionally it has been seen as. Conventionally, when you are talking about economic empowerment, you don't even talk about economic empowerment. You generally talk about financial inclusion, and that is considered as generally the only means of how you would alleviate the poverty through the microfinance institutes. But when we talk about economic empowerment, the name itself indicates that it goes way beyond the financial inclusion itself. It has several dimensions, and I would like to just talk about 5, 6 of those dimensions, which we have learned are critical for the success of the design of any economic empowerment program. It is important for not just achieving the development impact, it is also important for achieving the profits that the private sectors are looking for. It is also important for the sustainability of these initiatives, which is very good, which is very important. So just 5, 6 points which I have really captured from, in fact, our experts that have worked on these programs. And the first one, I would go over each one of them quickly without taking much time. The first one is really access to profitable projects. When you talk about working with the poor, many of them do not in the beginning have the capacities to identify the right projects where they would put their money. So that's where the role of these kind of funds and institutes really plays in, and I believe CEF is very important in that perspective. And the banks that would be working with the poor, they are very important in making sure that the right projects are selected in terms of where the poor invest. The second thing is the importance of the partnerships. You know, in many countries, what we have experienced is that we would provide funding, and we are talking about that most of this funding perhaps might go into rural areas. Many of those, they don't have networks and partnerships to even sell their products to anyone. And that's where some of these economic empowerment platforms, they aggregating all that demand and then making those partnerships and links, it becomes very important for turning that opportunity into an economic and financial opportunity for the private sector. So that's a very second important thing which I wanted to highlight. The third important thing is the affordable supporting infrastructure. And we know that when we are working with the marginalized, the poor, the rural areas, the SMEs, many of them, they are small, they are disaggregated, and for them, the typical infrastructure that is present, whether it's institutional, whether it's physical, is not suitable for their businesses. And when you aggregate them together, which these fund platforms do, they are easily able to provide that infrastructure or make that infrastructure viable, because then you are targeting a larger market by bringing them together. The fourth point is the access to markets, which goes along with the partnerships that I mentioned, that getting those guys who you are providing the funding, getting them access to the markets so they can become profitable, they can grow, and then the fund returns will grow. And once you have the returns to the front, the private sector would come in. This 100 million is just a start. I think we were discussing earlier during our pre-session meeting that what are the plans for the future, and I really believe those depend on what is the success of this 100 million. If you're successful with this, the plans could be, they would be beyond us. The last two things which I really want to talk about is the capacity. I think the technical assistance, which has been mentioned already, the capacity constraints that some of the SMEs have in the beginning in terms of understanding their growth and what their true potential is. That training part should be an essential element of any of this economic empowerment program. And I think the last point is then the access to funding, which the fund is naturally doing, and we've put the most focus on that. But to me, that comes as just the enabling factor once you have made sure that all these other principles are addressed in the design. So this is really the synthesis of what we have learned as Islamic Development Bank in terms of designing how the economic empowerment programs should be developed, how the funds should be structured. And I believe that Uzbekistan Economic Empowerment Fund is well structured around these lines, at least in the first phase, and we hope that that would continue to get better. It's a learning experience. You don't start with the final product, but I think we have put something good in place, and now it all depends on us as partners, as experts, as government, that whether we are able to make this successful and take it to the next level. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Han. We know that the Islamic Development Bank Group financed billions of dollars projects in Uzbekistan, so they have a good experience, and I think further they will help with their expertise and the funding. Thank you very much. So we have a next guest, next speaker from Aqua Power, Mr. Root. We know that the Aqua Power is from energy sector, and they have a huge energy project in Uzbekistan, and it gives good economic effect in future. And we see that company wants to help through our new fund to develop SMEs here. Is it first experience of Aqua Power on investing in such a funds, Mr. Root?
First of all, thank you very much for inviting me here, and my respect to distinguished guest. Yes, just in relation to Aqua Power, we are so far the biggest investor in energy sector. We have committed investment of $15 billion into this country, spreading over Uzbekistan, various locations, 19 power projects, 18 of them are renewable power projects. And as you know, we are known for our cheap production cost, which is helping the Uzbekistan economy in a great way. That's why government is showing a very large amount of interest for Aqua Power to develop projects here, and we are not stopping here. Our aim is to further invest and grow. We have in this investment forum, we are again committing another $5 billion. We are signing some implementation agreement with government. This is all about Aqua Power. We, as you may be knowing, we are also investing money in general in the CSR in Uzbekistan, corporate social responsibility, and we are training the young Uzbeks in Syrian Energy College. More than 500 students are enrolled in into that institution. Some of them are already qualified and working in our project companies as full-time employee, and it is becoming increasingly more and more popular in Uzbekistan because we are bringing in experts from outside Uzbekistan to coach the young Uzbekistan to become entrepreneur and become part of the SMEs. As you know, for any emerging economies or developing countries, SMEs are one of the great growth engine for any country. And Aqua Power really works with Islamic development banks and Islamic financing quite a lot, because our company is based from Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So we are a huge network relationship with Islamic banks in KSA, in UAE, and most of the financing actually coming from the Islamic banks. So as far as Sharia law is concerned, it's we have experience. We know that it is not complicated. It's rather fair and equitable, and we are really happy to help IFU to facilitate getting funds into IFU to help growing the SMEs in a better way. As you may be knowing, the Islamic financing, the Sharia law compliance, this has got approval from Central Bank of Uzbekistan last year in July, and we also have recently done a financing from Islamic Development Bank in one of our projects. So we have experience, we have the ability, we have the expertise, and we really want to help IFU to promote SMEs in a bigger way. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Root. It's very important that non-financial sector companies also investing on this fund and helping for development of SMEs in Uzbekistan. And also we have a next speaker, Mr. Lalwani. He's a Chief Development Officer of Vision Invest. As an investment expert, what lessons can other countries take from Uzbekistan's experience in integrating Sharia-compliant finance into their national economy strategies? Mr. Lalwani.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the forum, and welcome to the audience members and also to our esteemed panelists. I'm probably the least qualified member on this panel to talk about this topic, but good thing is I managed to have a coffee catch up with Gary and Jan 15 minutes before the session, so they gave me some good pointers. But as Vision Invest, we are really proud and honored to be part of this initiative, the Economic Empowerment Fund for Uzbekistan, and to have partners like SAEF and ISDB. I would say three things. We do see the success of this fund as a very, very important criteria for deepening the capital mobilization in the country. So as an infrastructure investor, as a developer, investor, operator of large infrastructure assets, we believe the success of the SME sector and deepening that capital mobilization is a key. And a lot of the points were recapped by my esteemed members anyways, but I think three key summary points if I can make. One is strong governance, which, A, by implementing Sharia-compliant instruments. Secondly, having our GP with experience and with the governance such as SEF, and having institutional investors and partners like ACOPower, and ISDB and Vision Invest. So I think that provides a good foundation for the governance. Second, I would say, is to have an investable and marketable pipeline. As Mr. Navanov mentioned in the beginning, there's a number of SMEs who need the capital. Is just to put criteria in place to make sure there is a bankable pipeline of SMEs going forward, which are then able to access these funds. And third one would be having appropriate risk sharing mechanisms. So, managing the currency risk, liquidity risk, and the credit risk, of course, on an ongoing basis, because that's what's going to ensure the scalability. Because I think one of the key things is to not just aim for the first 100 million, but to be able to invest it successfully, to be able to deploy and generate the returns that are intended, to then scale this over to 300, 500 million USD initiative. So I think in summary, those I would say are the three key points, and if that's done here in Uzbekistan, there is no reason why that can't be taken as the foundation or the structure for other countries as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Lalwani. And Mr. Yusupov, as a key partner, main driver partner of the Economic Empowerment Fund, how important is the success of this initial $100 million Sharia compliant phase for boosting investor confidence and enabling future funding? From Uzbekistan Fund Reconstruction and Development's view, what outcomes would guide the design of a potential follow-up platform to further support SME growth in Uzbekistan?
Thank you very much. Thanks. First of all, I would like to welcome you all here in Tashkent. Thanks for coming. I'm very actually happy to see you all here, because personally for me it was a long journey. It's all started in 2021 for us, and as you can see, it took quite a while to come to this point where we are at the final stage of approving our internal documents, policies, and hopefully by the end of this year we will start financing through our local commercial banks. Back to your question, initial 100 million phase is critical, not only to prove the viability of Shariah-compliant SME financing, but also to build investors' confidence and to attract further capital. For UFRD, this phase offers key insight into how this instrument perform, how MSMEs absorb them, how the portfolio quality, the development impact in terms of jobs, growth, and inclusivity. With Uzbekistan's strong macroeconomic outlook, we see a clear case to scale fund to at least $500 million. And I guess the first phase is a strategic launchpad, not the final goal for us. Thank you very much. Back to you, Bahram.
Thank you very much, Mr. Supov. As we come to the end of today's enlightening discussion, I want to thank all of our panelists for sharing their expertise and insights. It's clear that the journey towards financial inclusion and sustainable growth for SMEs in Uzbekistan is well underway, and initiatives like the Economic Empowerment Fund are playing a crucial role in this transformation. And to all our participants today, thank you for your time and your engaging answers. Your interest and commitment to this important topic are what makes conversation like this so valuable. Before we close, I'd like to extend a special thanks to our investors for making this event possible. We hope that this discussion will help, and this fund will help develop in the future SMEs of Uzbekistan and make a new driver for the developing small and medium enterprises in Uzbekistan. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Yeah. Thank you. I want to give the word Simone. After. Okay. So thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you.